Ah, man. Woo! Healthy warrior.
Join the team.
Hey team, it's theMCGuiREView, and today we're going to take a look at Paizo Pathfinder's Grand Bazaar. This is the shopper's dream. And, you know, some of these books, we've done quite a few of these books here on the channel. Some of these, I would say, are really good for just kind of building out the lore in the world or adding certain things to the world. Like we just did one on the new Guns and Gears book, if you want to check that out. However, some of these books, I think, are what I would consider must-haves for just holistically across Pathfinder and the world of Golarion there. Okay, so some things it's really good just to add in, and you may want it, you may not. And some things, like I feel like this one just works across the world and works for everybody. Now, what this will provide for you is the absolute shopper's dream. I mean, you are getting it. I'm going to open the book up here, and you'll be able to see from the overhead here very soon a lot of the content, but I'll just open this up and show you. This is kind of the overview of this giant, we'll just call it shopping center, that you will be able to go through with all the different numeric, they have little numbers here, so all the different locations you'll be able to explore. And that's what this book is all about. I'll read a little bit here on the back. It says, "A turn of a corner on a city street reveals a marketplace where almost anything can be found." I'll skip a little bit. Also, give an unfamiliar weapon a swing. Try on a fashionist's gown or a suit of armor. Make friends with a chatty familiar or companion animal. So there's just a number of things that you're going to find. It isn't just items that you'll be able to find in this area, but the people that run each one of these shops as well are very unique and different, and you can get things out of as well when you adventure through. And from a GM perspective, there's a lot that you can do with that too. So I'll read a little bit of the table of contents here. There's essentially an area of this book that's going to welcome you to the Grand Bazaar and explain the area, explain the location, explain how to kind of navigate through from a GM's perspective. And then each one of these other things that you see here are all different individual shops. And every one of them have very unique things, as well as unique NPCs that are running those shops. There's just so many awesome things here. There's even an Absalom ads. We'll look at that here. It's at the very back of the book. So just like any of these books, they've got the nice little index here on the side. You've got your introduction. You've got your A through Z, all your different shops. You've got a section called Other Shops. You've got an equipments table, and you have a glossary and index. So we'll take a look quickly at each one of those things there. Here is your map key. So there is 1 through 22. So there'll be 22 different shop locations throughout the Grand Bazaar. And the map key is right here on this first page, listing out each one of those things. And there's just a number of awesome different shops. The bin here, a mentor figure. So, for instance, this would be, a person, an NPC you'd find there. And here's the stats, well, not the stats, but here's kind of the background on that individual and how you can interact with that person. And then a little picture of the shop, which is really cool. And then once you turn, and they'll all kind of follow the same layout where you'll get, who's the shop owner or the NPC there, a little information on that person, little information on the actual location with some artwork. Really cool there. You can even show your players if you wanted to. And then you turn and it lists out all the different items that you're going to find within each one of those locations. Whether it's items or spells or potions, or there's just a number of things that you can actually get and pick up. But they're very, very unique things and only can be found at that particular shop. So it is a lot of fun to say, bring your players into the Grand Bazaar, let them spend a session shopping and talking to NPCs, maybe picking up side quests. I mean, there's lots of things you can do, leaving that area and then maybe down the road later making a return to the Grand Bazaar. And it's almost this fun, like, we get to go shopping in this like awesome place again and potentially pick up things that maybe you didn't have the coin or the level or the ability to be able to acquire at that point in time, but now you do. Maybe there's even some things you can do from a GM perspective that if there's something that is there specifically that a player wants, or maybe you want the group to have, you can get that item to the group through a quest. Again, all of this is a guide. You can use this however you want as a group and as a GM, and that's the beauty to the platform here. Okay, let's look. But you know, if the party wanted to come in and just flat out, okay, I want the brilliant rapier. I want the brilliant rapier. Okay, well that cost 4,500 gold pieces. And if that person or that group wants to pull together and has that amount of gold and wants to buy that, they can do it. You can bargain. You can do lots of stuff to be able to acquire the brilliant. And that's just an example. That's one item out of, you know, probably hundreds throughout this book. Here's another place here, the Bellwether Lodge. Really cool. And then here in the lodge where, and it's, the items really go with the feel of the environment as well. So for instance, in the lodge, you've got snares. You've got different types of like bolts you can throw. You've got rending snares. Look like big, huge bear traps. Sorry, buddy. A sulfur bomb. So lots of different trinkets and snares. My character, Silik, as a ranger, would love this area. There's all kinds of cool snares and different like little alchemic bombs that can be produced. Okay, so each area is going to be like this. I'm not going to go through them all, but every single one of them is going to follow that same approach. This is one of my favorites here, the Clockwork Caravan. Really neat little clockwork caravan, and a number of clockwork type items that you can get here, as well as even a clockwork familiar. So again, you can pick up specialized pets, you can pick up familiars. There's just all kinds of cool stuff. Here's one that's all about an emporium. It's all about magic potions and different things you can buy that would be from an alchemic perspective. And items you can buy. Here's actually a snare in this one. So Tar Rocket Snare. That's interesting. There's another snare. Mirror Ball Snare. Wow, this is cool. Vexing Vapor. Wet Shock Snare. Actually, there's quite a few snares in this Emporium. Excellent. Ooh, the snares. Silik loves the snares. Historia Reliquary. This is pretty cool. A bunch of Rhino Shop, that's awesome. A bunch of history type wares. I don't know, this book is awesome. There is so many cool things. This is the shopper's delight. It's another one of these books that I think it's a must-have. Any type, because you don't have to take your players to the Grand Bazaar. I mean, you can do that if you want to, or you can just say, hey, along the road in these travels, all of a sudden you come upon the Clockwork, wagon or something. I mean, there's lots of different things you can do and you can use here. Here's all about familiars. So a bunch of different types of familiars that can be picked up. This is a really cool one, the Kraken's Ink Tattoo. So it's a tattoo shop. And then it talks all about the tattoo wares and the various different tattoos you can get and what those tattoos will actually do to your players once that they get that. We've got the Lost and Found, which is a really cool, there's a lot of really unique items in the Lost and Found. We'll keep burning through here. There's just so many, like I could stop on every single one of these. There's so many awesome different things. Here's a section that gets into a bunch of new animal companions. So we had familiars. Now you got a full animal companion section. Looks like there's even some animal companions that are mounts. Here's a beetle companion. It's got a mount on it. Oh, this is awesome. So awesome. Here's a toy. Now this one's interesting. It's a toy shop. Looks like it's part of the Merry Gleam location. And there's a bunch of toys that you can get. Now I assume these games and these toys will... Yeah, so games... You can get a doll, a ball, a pinwheel, a paint set, a puzzle box, and they all do various different things that you can use for role play with your characters or your adventure, and some of them even have some certain like abilities to them as well. That's very awesome. Oh, this book is so cool, so cool. All right, so we're going to burn through this a little bit, and again, you'll see a little bit more on that overhead because it doesn't go, page for page what we're doing here. But you can see kind of on that side to side as it was rolling some of the other parts of the book. Oh my God, it's so cool. It's so cool. This book is an absolute must-have. Here's another one I'll hit, the Rune Room, which is really cool. Various different items you can build there. Summit and Sundry, adventuring gear. Oh, okay. Let's get to the other shops area so we can take a look at that here a little bit as well. So this goes through each one of the main shops within the area, and then other shops, it has back alley shops. So these are kind of off the beaten path, back alley type stuff, and you'll find a number of different NPCs and various different areas to be able to go to. And you can see each one of these areas here are different little back alley shops and or NPCs that you're able to interact with. Now, some of these are really interesting. Like here, this Places to Go. It lists off an NPC, pushes his cart around the Grand Bazaar at odd hours of the day. So that's an example there where, you may be reading through this as a GM, and maybe your characters don't go into any of these back alley shops, but you decide possibly your characters are out running around at night, and it's gotten night, and maybe some of them wanted to go walk around and see what they could find or whatnot, and then all of a sudden they can run into this particular NPC that just pushes the cart around at odd hours during the night. And then all of a sudden, there's something that those players can come into contact with that type of situation. So there's just a lot here. Okay, now in this last section here, that's about the Absalom ads. This is an interesting thing as well, how they kind of created a way to add a bunch more feats that were designed around different types of, we'll just say categories, because I don't want to say like archetypes or classes. It just looks like we'll just call them categories on this, but you've got a number of them, and we'll look at them here. But essentially, and I'll read this little bit here, because I thought this was really interesting and creative how they did this. Absalom Ads is a mail order shop that magically dispenses training manuals all over the Inner Seas region, delivering manuals on combat, magic, tactics, and more uncommon specialties into the hands of adventurers whenever and wherever they need it most. And it kind of goes over some flavor text of what that small part there I just read is about. And then for the rest of the book, there's a number of feats and different things that you can kind of learn as part of your training manuals, where it says Captivator, and there's a number of things you can learn on that. Spell Trickster, a number of feats for the Spell Trickster. Let's go to Wrestler. That's interesting. Wrestler feats. Now, I wonder if Elbow Breaker, Wrestler Dedication, Suplex, Running Tackle. This is really cool. Like if you were a monk and you, because my character Silik, which is a dwarven ranger, also had Titan Wrestler as a feat, which was very beneficial throughout the campaign. But you could add on this kind of stuff as well. Like if you were a monk and then you added on Wrestler Absalom training programs, that could be really unique with your style, because usually a monk is going to be more hand-to-hand type combat. Not always, but that would be some really cool feats to be able to add for a monk, to also be able to do an elbow breaker or a suplex on top of just the hand-to-hand fist combat, spine breaker. That's so cool. And then here at the back, we've got the equipment table, which is just a quick listing of all of the equipment that all the new equipment and different things you're going to find at the shops. It's really handy. It's got the name, the category, the price, and the exact page it's on. So that's a way from a GM perspective, if there's certain new items, and maybe you don't want your party to have to search through to be able to find it. If you want to speed some things up, you could actually just find the items that you want, put them all within a particular shop or particular area that they're at. I don't know that I'd recommend doing that, but it's a way that you can kind of speed up if you needed to just take parts of this book, if there were certain items or certain things you wanted to introduce your players to, and just get right into the party, versus allowing them to kind of explore on their own and just, they happen to come about it or they don't. It's just another tool in the toolbox for a GM to be able to use if they needed to. And then you always have your glossary here at the end. It kind of goes over your core terms. Okay, and in that beautiful Pathfinder blue. All right, that is Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Lost Omens, The Grand Bazaar. I highly recommend this book, team. If you, well, you know what? It's not if, it's really you need it, because this is the shopper's dream. This is the book that gives you all that extra shopping fun. Again, can you create some of this stuff yourself? Sure you can, but all of it's right here in this book. What is this MSRP on this one is $34.99. Again, that's the MSRP for this one. So if you see this, I definitely recommend picking up this for your Pathfinder 2nd Edition adventures. So hit that like, hit the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review. See you next time.